funny is we'll go through a whole. Am I scared? We'll go through a whole round of Would You Rather. And people talk about whether or not they want to do certain things or not do certain things. And the truth is that this is exactly what we're called to do for everybody. You realize the Savior of the world, the only one who never had to deal with what we dealt with, chose to deal with what we deal with. And this is his stance towards his 12. That he laid down everything.
Kind of dry it off a little bit.
He laid down everything. They didn't wear Jordans back then.
Nikes.
And I don't work at Payless. But you realize the level of humility it requires. Juwan and I are pretty tight. And honestly, we didn't plan this before. Juwan and I are pretty tight. And I'd like to think anyway that I wield some influence over him. And you have to understand the humility it requires from him to be able to come and have somebody that loves him so much use him not only as a demonstration, but it basically washing that part of the body that other people don't even want to mess with. And it has nothing to do with my position, and it has nothing to do with how much Bible I know. It has everything to do with how much I love God, how much I believe God, and it is God's will that I would do this in Juwan's life. And it is God's will that I would do this in yours. And it is God's will that you would do it in mine. If you want to know God's will, it's in the book. If you don't want to know God's will, you are not exempt from your obedience. He has called all of us to seek. You guys actually really surprised me, because most people will admit outwardly that they want to know God's will. That they want answers and they want direction, because if they only had more direction, it would completely influence their obedience. And what God is saying is, if you've heard me say something, just do it. You don't have to know the house that you're building. Just trust that you're building a house. You don't have to know how these things play out. You just have to trust that they play out. You don't have to know how it glorifies me. You just have to believe that it glorifies me. If you don't want to know God's will, I want to encourage you to pray for the desire to know. And if you do want to know God's will, I want to encourage you to pray for the courage to actually live it out.